So I'm really excited. To be fair, she raised her hand up and got onto the stage, and that's what it takes sometimes. So Siobhan Gallagher is an enterprise sales leader, and she's now here with us. She's an established sales leader with over 2 decades of experience across enterprise software sales, leading and managing global high-performance sales teams. And experience covers global organizations like Oracle and PwC into an additional number of high-growth scale-ups. And she's passionate about enabling others to progress their careers and supports a number of women in sales organizations. And she's going to be talking about resilience and strategies to help you shine. So over to you, Siobhan.
Hi, James. Great to be here. Thanks for the invite. And
Great.
yeah, I just thought it was really important in this day and age to maybe speak for a few moments about resilience in sales, because I don't need to tell anyone, but sales is tough. Sales is tough right now, and life is tough as well. Turn on the news and there's no good news. So with the experience that I've gained over the last few years in sales and just in life in general, I've come up with a few strategies for myself to help me be more resilient. Basically, what is resilience? Well, of course, I went to ChatGPT to find out, what is the definition of resilience, and yeah, it's the same as it is everywhere else. It's basically being able to bounce back when you're faced with stress, obstacles, challenges, when something bad happens, but being able to actually get up, dust yourself down, if possible, take the learnings from what's happened and then move on and get back in the game. And it's really more important now than ever to be able to be resilient in sales. And why is it important? Because resilience is the thing that will help you have a long-term career. Most of us will be working for maybe 30, 40 years, and we need to be able to enjoy those years and the work that we do. And the best way that I do that is to be realistic about how I deal with stress, and I think being resilient really helps with that. So I've got 5 points that I just want to cover off quickly. Basically, corny but true, what helps with being resilient, the absolute core of it is having a positive attitude and realizing that, I think Mark Twain said it, I've had some terrible things happen to me in life, but actually only 2% of them ever came true. And we all, especially I think at the moment, have a tendency sometimes to catastrophize, to think the worst, or to become overwhelmed. And it's absolutely critical to keep a positive attitude, to believe in yourself, to know your self-worth. And I know that is easy sometimes to say that, but for me, I know what my strengths are. I also know what my weaknesses are. I have a folder of things and pictures and whatever of the things that I've achieved. And I think it's really helpful to look at where you are now and to look at how far you've come, and to be able to reflect on actually all of the qualities that it took to get here. Anyone that's in sales in London at the moment, well, we're all probably doing jobs that are, in the top 10% of jobs that are stressful but also rewarding. We're all here in the capital for, to make the best of what we can. So that sets us apart in my eyes. And I think also the other elephant in the room is imposter syndrome. I don't think there is a woman I've ever worked with who hasn't suffered from imposter syndrome. And for me, I just want to actually say that at my level, I'm sure on that C-suite as well, we all suffer from it from time to time. So it's important to realize that actually no one is usually very much smarter than you. They're not better than you. they've just had more practice at doing whatever they've done. And we're living in an amazing time where any of us can learn to do pretty much anything by going on the internet or watching YouTube, whatever, by taking classes, by just putting ourselves out there to learn. And that's what for me helps me feel that I've set myself aside. But I think knowing your worth and being able to acknowledge your worth, and then also in the workplace, being vocal about it, not being shy about speaking up and saying what you've done, and acknowledge, letting other people know what you've done up the chain as well as down. Because as women, I know a lot of us are just assuming that people will realise how good we are and how hard we work and whatever. And unfortunately, that is not the case. So for me, I think that's core to being resilient. And the other core part of being resilient is adaptability, being able to adapt to change. And I think the one thing that I've realized to help me get to where I am today in my career is the fact that actually I can handle change. I don't mind change at all. In fact, sometimes I relish it, because it means that change, yeah, sometimes bad things can happen, things that I don't want to happen, but it'll always bring a new opportunity, a new chance to learn something, meet new people, shine, do something different. And the core part of being adaptable is realizing that there's actually no other way that you can control the situation. You have to adapt to the change, because it is inevitable. So that, I think, is core to being able to deal with challenges, to realize that they are going to happen, and then work out how you can make it advantage to yourself. Following on and tied up with that adaptability is being able to take action, take responsibility for your part in the changes, and to put your hand up and to sometimes just jump in. For me, I think the core thing about change and why we fear it is because we don't know what's coming. Tim Ferriss, who wrote the 4-Hour Workweek, a great book, a great guy, he has a really excellent resource called Fear Setting Exercise that he does once a month or so. I do it myself from time to time. And it helps you acknowledge all of the things that you're afraid of, that are maybe eating away at you inside, or that you're publicly have acknowledged as stressing you out. And once you've actually put that down on paper, you've acknowledged it's there, it helps you realize, okay, what can I do about this? How can I deal with this? I can make a plan, a goal to work around this and work with it and make the best of a situation. And that also gives you back control. So taking action, doing something, taking control, taking responsibility for your part in what's coming down the line really helps to make you a stronger and more resilient person. The other part is dealing with overwhelm as well. Changes, especially at the pace of change that a lot of us are experiencing at the moment in the current economic climate. Work-wise, I know lots of people are going through change. For me, the easiest way to deal with feelings of overwhelm or not being able to cope is to actually acknowledge, okay, so what is the challenge here? What is the issue? What's the problem we're dealing with? And to break it down into small bite-sized pieces, which make it much more easy to deal with. Fourth point is kind of obvious, and that's to get yourself a support system. Support system can be at work, an external or internal mentor, colleagues, and I think maybe it's worth saying at this point also that if you don't feel that there is that supportive network in work, then maybe it's time also to take a look at where you are and work out if it's the right environment for you or not. But support systems are really critical, and they give you a space to vocalize what you're going through, to talk to people who acknowledge your strengths and to help you realize your worth, and to also think through and discuss alternatives and what you can do in the situation. And final point, obvious again, is self-care. I've made the mistake a few times to just throw myself into work 100%, and I have lots of hobbies, lots of things I'm interested in, but they kind of take a backseat because I want to get a handle on my role and what I'm doing. And that is a really, really bad thing, as I've come to realize. I think if you don't look after yourself, no one else is going to do it for you. And self-care can take very many forms. It can be going for a walk, cooking, dancing, a hobby, taking holidays, being with your family, just taking a bath, even cooking a nice meal. But it's about putting time aside for you to detach from whatever it is that takes up most of your thinking space. And the plus side is that it helps top up your energy levels, helps you come back to the workplace with a fresh set of eyes, renewed energy, and really just helps you realize that actually work is not the be all and end all. So yeah, I mean, I could actually talk for ages about this, James, but they're kind of the 5 points that I try to keep in mind to help me kind of be more resilient.
Very valuable. Lots of great insight there, Siobhan. Thank you for sharing. And I'm sure there'll be some questions around those coping strategies in the Q&A. So we'll see you shortly.